Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, all.
Requested to the moderator to please start the event.
Well, we're waiting for the training and over.
Good afternoon, all of you.
Good afternoon.
Yes, so everyone has joined the conference, FDP.
I'm asking to the moderator, please start the event. All the participants are waiting. Time is running very fast. Thank you.
So everyone is going to be. So everyone is.
Okay.
Masa. Time is already going
Please
now.
just wait for a few minutes. There is a technical issue from other side, and it will be sorted out, and we are going to
Okay.
start within a few minutes.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, no problem.
Gana ayo. Hel. Gana na siyo. Ah. እንትኗ ምንድን ነው የምትለው ታይትሏን ሲንገር ሪሰርች ሜተድ ምንድን ናት ያቺ የለጠ مجمرة الجمرة انت اللي بالنا قدم ام بي بلون
Start video. Start video. Okay. نجمع لا Okay. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, training organizers, resource person, all participants from different parts of the world. My name is Kasao Mulatu, Vice President for Academic Affairs of Mizantepe University. To say something about Mizantepe University, I think some of the participants are out. I think we have to wait them to enter. Shall I start?
Okay, start.
Okay. To say something about Mizantep University, our university is one of the higher institutions in Ethiopia, located in southwestern part of the country, established in 2007. And currently we have 3 campuses, 4 colleges, and 5 schools. Concerning our program, we have 52 undergraduate program and 35 postgraduate program. And I also thanks to the College of Business and Economics of our university for its effort to commence this 5 days training in collaboration with Bahadar University, for NIMA University and Metech Thinking Foundation, University of India, on 5 days international FDF on research, methods, and economics in using Stata software. And I also thanks to Bahadar University, or NIMA University, and Metech Thinking Foundation for their collaboration to make this training to start today. And also I believe that this training will advance
مختار مقطع مطار
Start the session.
So
Excuse me, I ask to the speaker to start the A1.
Trying to start next steps.
Good afternoon, all dignitaries and the participants from all across the all parts of the world. It gives me immense pleasure that I have been a part of this 5-day FDP, and it has been a very wonderful opportunity to speak about how to write research proposal in economics and what are the pros and cons and what is the literature review, what are the objectives of doing research in economics, because basically economics is something which is a very important subject, important discipline, and economics is basically based on two things. The first is human wants are unlimited and resources are limited and scarce in nature. As you can see, the pandemic has come across and it has affected each and every part of the world. There are many researches which are going in the area of economics, maybe microeconomics, macroeconomics, international labor, trade, etc. There has been a growth in online education, digital education also, and COVID has impacted the economy. Okay, it has affected each and every segment of the economy. And let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Muktak Vyas, Associate Professor from Pune University. I have more than 12 years of teaching experience in Pune University as well as Jaipur National University. I have a corporate experience of 2 years in Deutsche Bank as a process executive. I have completed my PhD from Rajasthan University, India, in the field of business administration insurance. Now, I will talk you about the first topic, which is how to write research proposal in economics and what are the different guidelines, that are there in the field of economics. Okay, am I audible to all the members?
Sir, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. I'm sharing PPT. Just a second. Is it visible to all?
Sir, it's fine, visible.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Okay, so it's been a wonderful opportunity that I have been invited as a keynote speaker on 5-day international FDP on research methods in economics using Stata software. And I'm thankful to College of Business and Economics, Mizan Tezi University, Ethiopia, and collaborators also, Department of Economics, Bahirdas University, Ethiopia, Math Tech Thinking Foundation, India, and of course, Maha University, Pune University. Thank you very much, each and everyone. Now, I'll start with the day one. So this is my brief introduction. I'm Dr. Muktak Vyas, Associate Professor, School of Management and Commerce, Pune University. I've done my PhD in Commerce, MBA, NET, SLED, PGT, HRM, and I'm pursuing MCOM also. I have more than 12 years teaching experience in Jaipur National University and 2-year corporate experience in Deutsche Bank Operations International. Am I audible to all?
You are audible.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So before starting this particular topic, that how to write research proposal in economics, we should know what is known as a research. Research is basically journey from known to unknown. What we know and what we do not know. So the gap between what we know and what we do not know, it is being filled by research. Research is basically the art of scientific investigation. It is searching for truth. So research has to be empirical, reliable, systematic. Like you cannot make castles in the air, and you cannot be have a casual approach. So research is basically going for investigation, very deep investigation. Research is systematic, reliable, empirical, and researcher should be ethical. Like he should not manipulate the facts. He should not distort anything. So in economics, we have to quote each and everything which is being given by a government or which is by the statutory bodies. We have to write proper source also from where we are taking the data, because the field of economics, as I mentioned earlier, is very large. It has a very broader scope. So you cannot write anything in your research plan. The plan has to be innovative, first of all. It should not have a plagiarized content. No duplication has to be there. Okay. Now, as per the definition of research given by OECD, it is Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. Research is any creative, systematic, and activity undertaken in order to increase the stock of knowledge, including knowledge of man, culture, society, and the use of this knowledge to devise new applications. So, research is basically innovation using the existing knowledge. Like, if we are doing research, it should add to the reservoir of knowledge of any person reading your research. Means if a research is mundane, dull, then it is not a research. If it is not contributing to anything. So research is creative, systematic activity to increase the stock of knowledge. Like when you read any research proposal of Karl Marx, anyone, Adam Smith, so they have given their research in a very critical manner. Like in organization behavior, we talk about motivation theory, like Maslow need hierarchy theory, Frederick Herzberg theory, etc. So they have given the whatever their revelations in a very proper manner. So research is for social, it is for society also. Okay, if you are doing research merely for the sake of getting PhD degree or a doctorate degree, then it is not a research. Okay, you should do research for the social cause, for the social welfare. Like Thomas Alva Edison has invented light bulb, and he failed multiple times. And after that, he invented the light bulb, Newton gravitation law, Wright brother aeroplane, Rontgen X-ray. So research is for social cause. Okay, research has to be something which is very innovative and which should contribute to the society. So this is the meaning of research. Research word is made up of two words, re plus search. Re means again and again, and search is exploring something. Like if we do literature review, we have to do the literature review in a chronological order. Like we have to study each and everything. what are the latest trends in the field of your research, and what has been the contribution of earlier researchers, so that you can identify the gap in the research. Because any proposal is incomplete if you don't have a exhaustive literature review. Am I clear here, sir?
Sir, it is clear.
Thank you so much, sir.
I also request to all the participants, if you
Yes,
have
yes,
any
sure,
kind of question, you can submit in the chat box, or either you can raise your hand. At that moment, you will be unmuted. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So this is the overview of doing research. Now, there are some people who say that research is exploring new phenomena. It is called exploratory research. I somewhat agree to that, but somewhat disagree to that. Like, if you are exploring any new thing, new particular thing, then you won't be able to have a proper literature, sufficient literature evidences. So research does not always tell that you should explore or discover any new phenomena. Research can be descriptive also, and how you are adding something extra to descriptive research, like survey, fact-finding inquiries, etc. Like we have ex post research. In ex post facto research, it is called descriptive research. It is based on survey, fact-finding inquiries, etc. And nowadays, the very prominent research is in the field of healthcare. It is called epidemiological research, the study of the epidemic and what are the ways to stop that epidemic, preventing that epidemic. So epidemiological research is a need of the hour.
Excuse me, sir. Are you changing the slide?
Yes, sir. Now I will change. Now we talk about significance of research. Like, there has been a quotation given by Professor Hudson. Professor Hudson said that doubt is better than overconfidence. If you have a doubt, you will inquire something, and if you will inquire something, you will do some invention. So in economics also, we cannot be overconfident, like I know each and everything. No, doubt has to be there. Like Thomas Alva, Newton, they have the doubt regarding gravitation law, filament bulb, etc. So doubt is always better than overconfidence. So now the significance of research is that research is a basis for all economic policies. If we don't have a research, we don't able to make any economic policy, industrial policy, agricultural policy, banking policy, insurance policy, etc. So research is universal. And the role of research in several fields of applied economics, whether related to business or to the economy as a whole, has greatly increased in modern times. The increasingly complex nature of business and government has focused attention on the use of research in solving operational problems. So basically, research helps in solving operational problems. Like in quantitative techniques, we talk about linear programming problem. So that is also a research, operation research, inventory control is there. So research is a basis for economic policies. Research is a basis for industrial decisions, and it is also useful for social scientists to study social things. It is a source of employment. It is a source of livelihood. And research is also helpful to the people working in R&D firms like KPMG, S&P, etc. So research is very important in each and every area. Now, what is the importance of economics? We have seen the importance of doing research, But now, what is the importance of economics? See, economics basically answer three questions: what to produce, how to produce, why to produce. So if we know the answers to all the three questions, we are the winner. So how to distribute resources? Optimum utilization has to be there. Then how to achieve social efficiency? There should not be any unequal distribution of income, wealth, etc. Now you are seeing that rich is becoming richer, poor is becoming more poorer. So social efficiency has to be there. Distributive justice has to be there. Then the third importance of economics is to give information to make informed choices. Like you cannot impose your decision on anyone. Any customer, any client, he should have alternatives so that he can choose the right option. Then the fourth is give economic forecast. Economic forecast is that area where research is being required. Maybe it's a weather forecast, maybe it's a earthquake forecast, economy forecast, like how economy will grow, what will be the per capita income, what will be the inflation level, etc. And there are many techniques: regression analysis, expert opinion method, Delphi method, nominal group technique method, trend analysis method. Then in case of failure of the market, how you will fix that? Understanding consumer behavior. Now, consumer behavior is very important area, not in the field of economics, but also in the field of marketing management and organizational behavior. Although OB talks about employee behavior, but if employee knows his or her behavior properly, he can easily understand consumer behavior. Like what is happening in the mind of the customer? What are the underlying motives, intentions, etc. So consumer behavior understanding is very important. There are many models related to consumer behavior, like Howard Schaff model is there, machine model is there, etc. Then the next is opportunity cost of decisions. Like I will share one good quotation on this. The quotation is related to decision making. Best way to run a business is to take a right decision. Second best way to run a business is to take a wrong decision. And the worst way to run a business is to take no decision. So decision has to be taken. Right or wrong will be decided afterwards. So opportunity cost is another importance of economics. Like value of a benefit sacrifice in favor of alternative course of action. It is called opportunity cost. So guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, if any researcher want to make a ideal research in the field of economics, these all questions are very important. Because if you don't understand economics, you won't be able to do any research in economics. So first we have to understand what is economics. Clear all? Is that clear, everyone?
Yes, sir. Please carry on.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, economic research. If we combine research with economics, it is called economic research. Now you can see this chart diagram, pie chart, histogram, bar diagram. So this is economic research. Okay, so first we have to have a proper data, literature review. Only then we can start with data analysis. Because if we don't have a proper data, then there is a big loophole. So the data has to be right. And another thing in context of data collection is you have to be parsimonious. Parsimonious means you have to be stingy, miser. Like on Google, Yahoo, Bing, you have so much material available, but you have to take only that material which is required by you. Not everything is required by you. Okay, so sometimes we have to fill ocean in the picture. We cannot have all the data. No, we have to focus on quality. So economic research is basically research in the field of economics. It can be micro, macro, inflation, international trade, international labor, developing nation, WTO, etc. Now, the very important thing is how to find topic for research in economics. There are millions of ways to search for a topic, but topics are limited, so easier to pick. But research should start organically from passive reading and striking news articles. Like if you read any news articles, some curiosity exists in your mind. So first you have to make sure that what entices you, what attracts you, and be sure that you have a proper knowledge also. Like a person of arts, he cannot make a research proposal in mathematics. Okay, he can only concentrate on arts. So we have to focus on our expertise. You will also need a project that can be done within the parameter of the assignment: length, due date, access to research materials. Like there are many scholars who, due to their enthusiasm, excitement, they choose that topic which is very different and they don't get any literature. So it is very important choose that topic so that you can get a proper literature also. I am not saying that you can choose outdated topic, obsolete topic. Okay, but you have to choose that topic which is innovative at the same time, and you can think that you will find the data, literature, etc. And another thing, controversial topics should not be chosen for the study. Any topic which hurt the sentiments, cultural values, these topics are to be avoided. Then, topics which are overdone, beaten to death, they should be avoided. The topics in which you find lots of material, duplicate work, it should be avoided. And pilot testing is important. Pilot study is important. You have to contact the expert people, concerned people who are expert in the field of area. A profoundly interesting topic may not be manageable given the time and other constraints. Now, if you think your topic is interesting, lively, but you will face limitation, like during the time of submitting research synopsis, you have submitted your synopsis, proposal, outline. But when you will actually do the groundwork, you will face the limitation. So the key is you have to be practical. Pragmatism is important. So finding a topic for research in economics is not that difficult, but choose only that topic in which you get the proper material also. That is important. You should read periodicals, articles, news articles, passive reading, books, etc. Am I clear to all? Okay. Now next is that how to find and use the resources. Now there are two types of economic sources: empirical data. Basically, in research, we talk about empiricism. Empiricism is based on personal experience and observation. So information that is or can be easily translated into numerical form and academic literature, books, articles that help you to organize your ideas. So first is the empirical data and second is academic literature. Like what are the books, articles? Then Economic data is compiled into a number of useful secondary sources like economic reports, statistical abstracts, national longitudinal survey, census data related to the population, academic journals. There are many journals, many indexes also, Web of Science, Willy, Emerald, Elsevier, etc. So here you can find different sources to get the data. And very important is the government reports. What are the reports which are published by authorized bodies, economic bodies? Now, these are the areas to do research in the field of economics. Microeconomic theory, applied microeconomics, macroeconomics, econometrics, finance. Now, these topics are not exhaustive. There are many other topics as well. Like if I talk about microeconomics, there is a price, demand, supply, etc. If I talk about applied microeconomics, then how these principles are applied in reality. Macroeconomics talks about income, equilibrium, market competition, balance of payment, trade. Then econometrics talk about the models, regression model, etc. that makes a combination between dependent and independent variable. And last, finance area, international investment, American depository receipt, global depository receipt, external commercial borrowings, Euro bond, Yankee bond, carrot stick bond, FDI, foreign direct investment. So finance topics are also there in which you can do your research. Am I clear to all? Okay. Now, economic research proposal topics. So, economics research proposal topics. So, the topic finalization is very difficult task. We say that a problem well defined is half done. Well begun is half done. So, if you identify your topic correctly, there will be not a problem. Like I give you one example, very easy example, that why productivity of America is greater than India. So this is not a topic on which you can do the research because it is not specific. Instead, we can reframe why labor productivity of India is greater than America during last 10 years. So you have to mention a timeline also. Okay. So economic research is not that easy because you have to go through all the journals, all the government bodies reports, Federal Bank report. They are like in India, we have a Reserve Bank of India also, RBI. So you have to read each and every. The economic structure is important. Since 2 years, pandemic has affected all of us. So there are myriads of topics which you can correlate with pandemic and economic. You can choose any sector and you can correlate it with epidemic. And then you can identify the topic. And you have to discuss the topic with the people who are expert of that area. If you don't discuss the topic, it will be a problem. Like you cannot be arrogant, overconfident also. Confidence is important because it is the confidence of the researcher that will give you the proper that give a proper edge over other people. Is PPT visible to all?
Yes, sir, visible.
Okay, okay, sure. Now, these are the list of topics in the field of macroeconomics. Macroeconomics deals with study of economy as a whole. As a whole, we are talking about. So, first topic is macroeconomics and international relations. We know about WTO, NAFTA, GATT, etc. So, this could be a topic. WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization, TRIMS, Trade Related Investment Measures, TRIPS, Trade Related Intellectual Property Rights. Then income distribution and its role in macroeconomics. So this could be a wonderful topic. Like you can study about income distribution. Is there any inequitable distribution or the distribution is equal? Then environmental macroeconomics and sustainable developmental trends, SDG, sustainable developmental goals. Now we talk about vision of the country, where the country want to see itself after 10 years, 20 years. It could be a topic, but it would be based on forecasting only. Environmental macroeconomics is also a very beautiful topic. Then interdisciplinary approach towards macroeconomics studies. Like economics is a mix of other disciplines also, like sociology is there. So interdisciplinary approach and role of innovation in macroeconomic. Like what is the role of innovation in the field of macroeconomy? What are the new manufacturing processes? What are the new services, goods which are innovative? So although this is also not an exhaustive list, but yes, as a starter, you can choose these topics for your research. Now, microeconomics research topics. Micro is basically study of individual. It is a narrow scope as compared to macroeconomics. Like basics of microeconomics, principles, objective, like demand and supply law, individual, supply and demand in market economy, perfect competition, imperfect like monopolistic, oligopoly, etc. Economy of uncertainty, theory of firm, theory of production and labor market. So these could be the topics for doing research in microeconomics, and you can correlate it with contemporary era. Like what is happening presently. And see, we have to study literature. Ricardo theory of rent, Karl Marx theory, Adam Smith theory. So these theories are there in international trade, international business management. So microeconomics topics you can also select for your study. They are not that difficult to take, but however, you have to study minutely because you are studying individual unit or a group. Am I clear to all? Okay. Now, third is econometrics. Now, econometrics has a lot of scope worldwide. Econometrics is one topic which require lot of scientific mind, investigative mind, and econometrics is something which you have to start from scratch. Like it is not that easy topic, but if you know the backbone fundamentals of econometrics, you will be the winner. Like these are some topics in the area of econometrics. I'll tell you first, how privatizing public enterprises could affect economic development. Public-private partnership. Now, each and every sector is now getting privatized. So that you have to compare between economic development and privatization, that whether privatization is contributing to economy or not. Then second is a cashless economy. How demonetization affect medium and small businesses. Cashless economy. So due to pandemic, we have focused attention on cashless only. All transactions are to be without cash, online transfers. So you can make a study topic, interesting one, if you correlate demonetization with medium and small businesses. Then third, consumption evolution over the last decades, consumer behavior and trends. So if you see the past trend of the people who are buying goods and services, what is the trend? Are they more keen towards FMCG product, white goods, electronic goods, luxurious goods? This could be a topic and very interesting topic because you can find lots of literature here, consumption, evolution, etc. Then investigating salary inequalities and the forces behind them. In human resource management, we talk about pay disparity between male female, glass ceiling effect, like you can be only promoted up to a certain level because of a particular gender. Apologies to anyone if I am hurting anyone, but this is a true thing. Glass ceiling effect. You can only be promoted up to a certain level. So pay disparity is there. For the same job, male is getting high salary, female is getting low salary. What are the forces behind them? And it is a debatable topic also. Then how income changes affect consumer choices. Like there has been an increase in income level. So how it affect consumer choice? Which goods he will buy? Like earlier we had the concept of joint family system. Now it is a nuclear, and even now it is a dink family. Dink family means that double income, no kids. Both husband and wife are working and they don't want any kids. So their income increases. So there is an increase in their personal disposable income. And how it affects consumer choices. It could be a very interesting topic. And last, labor force to participate in public budgeting affect the economy. Like if we take feedback from the people regarding preparation of the budget, how it will affect the economy. Because when budget comes, it faces a lot of criticism. So why not involve the all general public to participate in public budgeting process? Like in marketing, we say that co-creation. Co-creation means that you have to involve the consumer in the product development process. Like Starbucks is doing that. Starbucks has started a poll based on expert opinion. Like you can submit any idea to Starbucks related to coffee packaging, coffee designing, and the best idea will be nominated by a voting process. So you can make customer a part of overall process. So similarly, you can make a part, you can make the people, general public, a part of union budgeting process. If they become a part of the budgeting process, they will not resist anything, and you can see the impact. So these are the topics related to econometrics. You can use a trend analysis, ratio analysis, Delphi method, etc. This is a mathematical. So doing research in econometrics is not a cup of tea for everyone. because these topics require a lot of expert knowledge. I am not scaring you, but it is a true fact. Okay. Now, this is a very important side, global economics landscape in 2022. So you can see this slide. It has been derived from Euromonitor International Macro Model Voice of Industry COVID-19 survey by International Labour Organization. Now, if you can see this slide, the third diagram, food and beverages, it has shown a drastic increase of the production, growth-wise also, and real percentage growth. So food and beverages will always be in a demand. Then second is the metal products, then high-tech goods, transport equipment, etc. Now in 2022, 14 cities will boast GDPs of over 500 US billion dollar. So there will be 14 cities which will have a GDP above 500 US billion dollar. Now we come to the second diagram. More than 70% of companies plan to invest in recycling in 2021-26 as part of their climate action. Global warming is there, ozone layer is also depleting. So companies are planning to invest in recycling. Unemployment rate is also given here. So you can see this diagram, unemployment is also there. And come to the first slide, first diagram, global real GDP index baseline and alternative scenarios 2019-2023. So pre-COVID, Euromonitor baseline C19 optimistic, pessimistic too. So we have to study the economy landscape before undertaking any research. Like as a prospective candidate, we only join that company which is progressing. So we have to do research on that topic which is a booming topic, which is the progressive topic. Because if we do a research on outdated topic, obsolete topic which has no relevance to the society, to the country, then it is not contributing to the your own knowledge. And whenever we are making any research, we have to mention the source. If we are taking any diagram, any statistic, we have to write these source properly. If we don't write the source, it will be treated as a Copyright Act violation, and it is not considered very good practice in the field of research ethics. Am I clear to all of you? Okay. Now, pandemic related risks continue to challenge the global economy. So as the fastest pace of recovery is already over, the global economy is expected to expand by 4.6% in 2022, down from 5.7% in 2021 under Euromonitor International Baseline forecast due to continued medical improvement and a consumption boost from pent-up demand. So now the economy is recovering also. The COVID-19 pandemic continued to represent a major risk to global economic growth in 2022 as insufficient vaccinations in both advanced and developing economies and new infection waves are coming. Like in Siberia, Antarctica, another virus is also coming, which is inside the glacier. I don't know about that. Delta Cron. Now Omicron is there. Omicron has led to tightening of social distancing restrictions in many economies at the end of 2021. If supply chain disruptions and high inflationary pressures continue in 2022, global production and consumption will be affected, undermining global economic recovery. So if we are making any research, summary proposal, we have to think in the mind the pandemic is still there. So what topics we can choose for our research? And gradually economy will improve. World economy will improve, definitely. Now, outline for writing research paper in economics. What are the different guidelines? Because if you don't have a outline, there is no blueprint or there is no structure. So first is the introduction. In introduction, you have to pose an interesting question or problem. So pose something interesting question. Research always starts with a doubt or a curiosity. So some anxiety has to be there. So introduction has to be there. Like what problem is there? On which problem you are doing research? Basically, problem means any difficulty which you are facing in practical situation. Then second is a literature review, which is very important because we find research gaps based on literature review. Third are the methods and data. You have to formulate hypotheses, make assumptions, and also describe your data. Result, you have to present result with the help of graphs, charts, diagrams, etc. A presentation is important because we say a picture speaks more than 1,000 words. So you can make a good graph, discussion, critique your own method and discuss with any policy implications. You can criticize your method also and you can discuss then what are the implications, what could be the policy implications. Then you can correlate your method with policy. And last is summarizing what you have done, pose questions for further research. Like there always be a scope for further research. If you don't have a scope for further research, it is not a research. Okay, because then you will be acting as a guiding body to another researcher who is doing research on the same topic. Is the PPT visible to all?
Yes, sir,
Okay.
it is visible.
Okay, thank you. Now, how to write proposals on recent topics in economics. So first is solidify your research topic idea. That are you 100% confident that you can choose that topic? You will find matter also, literature also. You have to first have a proper background. Your structure has to be ready. Your foundation has to be strong. Solidify your research topic or the idea. And the topic or idea has to be innovative. Then second is decide on a methodological approach. It can be either qualitative, quantitative, or a mixed method approach. So you can choose any research design, exploratory design, descriptive design, experimental design. Okay, and it can be a combination of both. Like in qualitative approach, we talk about personality. What characteristics are there? And what traits are there? In a qualitative research, we talk about personality traits, motive. In quantitative, we talk about mathematical. And mixed method is a combination of both the methods. Then provide the background for the research topic. You have to select rationale for doing research. What is the rationale for doing research? What is the significance of your research topic in the contemporary era? Write a review of literature properly. Always use academic journal articles or books and use at least 6 to 8 sources depending upon length of the research. So what project you are undertaking, depending upon the length, you should have at least 6 to 8 sources, it will look good also, and also shows that researcher has done his or her homework really well. And construct a timeline. A timeline has to be there. Time length has to be there. Till this month you will complete this. Till this thing you will complete this. So a timeline has to be there. Project life cycle is there. Like an engineer makes a building. So at what time he will do the first floor, foundation, and architecture, finishing, layout, etc. So similarly, a researcher has to construct a timeline. Basically, researcher has to be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. So construct a timeline for each and every step. Now, organization of final paper. So this is the general structure of a paper. I think you know very well this. Introduction, literature review, theoretical framework, empirical analysis, conclusions, appendix, references. Appendixes means you are using questionnaires, any survey form, or mathematical derivations in respect of technical data. So this is a general structure of final paper, at how you will write final paper. Now, in introduction, you have to define topic first. Define general topic first. What research has been done on this already? What are the gaps in literature? Define the specific research questions. How will you answer your specific questions, and order of remaining paper? So first you have to define that topic. You have to define the topic in a general way. Then you have to define in a specific way. Then what contribution has been done in your area by other researchers, and where are the gaps in the literature, because literature review is important for identifying hypotheses, tools for data collection, etc. Then literature review. Literature review and hypothesis. Each paragraph represents one study. If there are multiple authors, you can use abbreviation et al. Each paragraph represents one theme. Like you can divide the literature into theme, because theme-based literature looks good, systematic, and chronological order has to be followed. Like which is the latest study, then coming to the according to the timeline. Summarize the gaps in literature, like they have identified, and what is your own assumption? What is your hypothesis? Basically, hypothesis is a tentative assumption. I'll give you one example. Mileage of automobile X is higher than mileage of automobile B. It can be right, it can be wrong. There is no relationship between consumer income level and his expenditure on recreation. It can be an hypothesis. Okay. So there is a relation between consumer income level and expenditure incurred on recreation. You have to prove your hypothesis. Hypothesis is hunch, guesswork, and hypothesis should be specific, and it should be capable to be testing within a reasonable time period. Like you cannot test the hypothesis since 20 years you are testing your hypothesis. No, you have to give a proper deadline. So literature review is very important. Now, how to start literature review? Select a topic and also formulate a few well-defined research questions. So first you have to choose a particular topic on which you want to do the research and formulate few well-defined research questions. Example, auction theory. So this is not a topic. Auction theory is a broader research on single unit auction. It is still a bit broader topic. So proper topic is empirical research on wholesale electricity auctions in United States. It is a manageable topic. So the topic should be clear. It should be specific. It cannot be generalized. Because if a topic is being generalized, it means you haven't explored anything. Because research is minutely investigating. So investigation in a deep manner. Am I clear to all? Yes, any doubt? Okay. Now in literature review, another thing is early back. Select a topic and formulate a few well-defined research questions. Brainstorm a list of search terms related to your topic and then search for sources. Like in marketing, advertising, we talk about search engine optimization, keywords, etc. So you have to identify the keyword. Like if you write any abstract also, you write the keywords also. What are the text or different bibliographical database from where you can get the items related to your research, and you have to review reference sections. I am not saying that you have to write an epic, that you're writing an epic or you have to write any big holy book. No. But I'm saying that whatever you write, you should write quality content. And the content will only come if you brainstorm. Like in entrepreneurship, if you want to make a business plan, idea generation is important. And you have to discuss the idea with sponsors, venture capitalists, angel investors. So if you make a business plan without consulting anyone, it is not a business plan. Most of the plan fail because we don't consult. Like if you are choosing a research topic in economics, you have to consult a renowned economist or any professor of economics. He can give you a better guidance. Like these could be the topics. We should not always depend on Google search engines for our research. No, they are not for you. They are only for reference. The problem identification should come from your brain. Briefly review sources and use what you learn to refine your topic and research questions. Then you have to review sources also and use what you learn to refine your topic. Like as I mentioned earlier, why productivity of Japan is higher than India. So you can reframe that why labor productivity of Japan is higher than India during last 10 years. So you can reframe your research question easily. Working backwards. Working backward means that begin with a collection of recent research on a given topic. Like if you want to do research on socialist, you have to read Karl Marx. They are the classic authors. What authors or papers appear in the text introduction or reference sections? You have to work backward. Because as I mentioned, research is a journey from known to unknown. What we know and what we do not know, we have to fill that gap. It is a voyage of discovery. And identify the core literature. Like marketing, we have to read Philip Kotler. What authors or papers do researchers keep citing? What work do researchers identify as classic or path-breaking, landmark, etc.? We have to read those literature. Only then we will get a astute idea. And your acumen will also improve. Now search out this specific literature. You have to work backward in a chronological order at how it started. Like in entrepreneurship, the word entrepreneur is being derived from French word entrepreneur, which means undertakers. So we have to work backward also. Although recent studies are good, recent literature is very important, but we have to study preceding literature also to get a proper knowledge and a background knowledge also. Now, this is the checklist we have to keep in our hand. That have I formulated a topic and well-defined set of research questions? Are all the research questions are being defined properly? Have I discussed my topic and research questions with a library staff member that can assist me with searching for sources? Digital library is there nowadays. InfilibNet is there. So library is now automated. Then have I carried out some easy searching to learn about the topic and to help me narrow my topic and sharpen my questions? So you have to specify your topic from generalized to specificity. Then have I talked to a faculty member about my topic, my research questions, and the result of my early searching? Discussion with expert people is important because they are the domains of their respective domains. If you don't discuss with any professor or any faculty member due to any ego hassle, research will not be there. And have I identified the core research on the topic, the classic work? Your topic should be something classic. You have to be a paragon for the coming generations to follow. Become a role model for others to follow. So this is important checklist. Now you have to filter your set of sources, review abstract, introduction. So you have to organize your ideas and you have to filter your set of sources. It is basically screening. Then determine the scope of your literature review, what you will cover and what you will not cover. Okay, like in strategy, we say that every entrepreneur or every businessman will advise you what you have to do, but they don't advise what you should not do. So you should know what you will not cover in your literature. You have to be stingy, miser. You have to fill ocean in the picture. You cannot take all the literature which is not relevant at all. You cannot take irrelevant literature with you. Like if you include any literature which is not related to your topic, means far away from your topic, there is of no use to increase the number of pages. It is not required at all. Then prioritize among your sources. You have to prioritize your sources also. Now, classic and other studies you identify as more relevant or important for closer reading. Now, the classic literature like Karl Marx, Adam Smith, Ricardo, whatever their books, resources, you have to first prioritize them. You have to read that deeply. Okay, if you don't read it deeply, you will not get any, you will only get a marginal knowledge or only narrow knowledge. In order to get a broader knowledge, you have to prioritize your sources. Am I clear to all? Okay. Now, key questions to answer in your reading and note taking. What is the source topic, research methodology, and central result? Means you have to write the summary also. Summary means what are the findings? What are the findings of previous researchers? And from where you have to start. And how is this source related to my topic, thesis, and research questions? Does it support or contradict my thesis? So source or anything, it should not be controversial. It should contribute to the knowledge of other people also. And it should be for society nowadays. Maybe you will get Nobel Prize someday. Okay, so you have to choose your research topic keeping in mind whether it is uplifting social values and it is not against any other person, or it is not hurting sentiments also. What are the strengths and weaknesses of the research in the source? Are there any bias? So literature review should be impeccable. Impeccable has to be there. And how important or influential is this particular source? So you have to see what have been the biasness or mistakes by the earlier researchers. Is there any weakness? Okay, because there is always a scope for improvement. Then, how is the source related to other research on the same topic? And does it employ a different methodology? Does it pertain to a different population, region, or a time span? Does it work with a different data set? So you have to see that also, that whether if same research is being carried out to another sample size, population, geography, scope, will it work or not? I think this is the more easier way. Like if someone can do the research for you and you can just change the geographical area, sample size, and your work is done. So it may not be there. You have to be creative also. What are the points of agreement or disagreement between the source and other research on the same topic? So there could be a points of agreement or disagreement also between the source and other research on the same topic that you have to synthesize also. Then getting a sense of big picture. You cannot be myopic. You cannot be narrow-minded. A holistic vision is important. What are the trends and themes in literature? What are the points of consensus? What are the points of controversy? Which debates are ongoing? Where does my research weigh in? So you have to get a sense of big picture. You have to take the overview. If you don't take the overview, then you won't be able to do any literature review. So you have to take overview also. You have to take a bigger picture. Like in marketing management, we say that we cannot be myopic. The vision of marketer has to be broader one. Marketer cannot be myopic at all. What are the areas on which there is ample research? What are the areas that need further research that you have to identify also? Which studies offer support for my thesis and which study contradicted your thesis? Where does my research fit into larger literature on the topic? Like if anyone cite your research, then it has to be fascinating. It should attract the attention of the reader. Now, checklist for notes on each source. This is important. Full citation information has to be there. Like even if you are taking web link, you have to write retrieved on, when it was retrieved. Full citation has to be there. What is the author discipline? What are the credentials? What is the topic, research questions? What is the methodology employed, theoretical framework, empirical framework? What are the study main result? What are the answers? What are the strengths and limitations of study? And how is the study related to other research on the same topic? So this is a checklist for notes on each source. Like if you are reviewing any source, these things are important. You have to keep this checklist in your mind. Am I clear to all? Okay. Now come to introduction. Elements of introduction. So first you have to write a statement of thesis or research questions. Then why you want to do research, what is the motivation behind doing research, importance, whether you are doing research for a social cause or you are doing research for respectability, whether you want to love the challenge in solving unsolved problems, whether you want to do research for getting a job in a teaching line, and whether you want to solve complex problems and desire to get intellectual joy. So you have to write the importance of doing research, why you want to do research. Like in interview, there is always a common question, why we will hire you. So in the same way, why you want to do research. Then third, statement of scope of literature review. Note your selection criteria for the review and hint of how you will organize the literature and your discussion of it. That how you will do the organization part of your literature. Now, these are some literature review resources, online writing lab at Purdue University and University of Wisconsin Madison Writing Center. So it has a sample APA style, American Psychological Association. We have a modified European style also. So these are different style of literature. These are the e-learning resources or the web resources which are available for therefore how to write literature review. Because what happened, researchers simply start data collection, filling questionnaire, using SPSS, etc. So SPSS is okay, I know that, but literature review is the heart of any research. Okay, I think there are some participants who are not able to see PPT. Is there any technical error on their site? Is my PPT visible to all?
Yes, sir, it is visible. It may be from other side due to low network.
Okay.
Otherwise, all the things
Okay,
are
no
fine.
problem. Okay, no problem. These are some other literature review resources. University of Melbourne Information Division. It gives an outline of tips on writing a literature review in economics, sources of further reading. So this is a very important source for research in economics. This hyperlink, I will share the PPT afterwards, don't worry. So it gives an outline of tips on how to write literature review in economics. Then University of Toronto Writing Center, outline of question to ask yourself while writing a literature review. So these are some literature review resources. American University Library, it is a constellation of sites with tips on writing literature review, a sample literature review, checklists and sources for further reading. So it is also very decent site in which you can get access on the tips and guidelines to write a literature. University of California, Santa Cruz, outline of the definition and purposes of a literature review as well as its key components. So these are web links in which you can access literature. Now, how to write conclusion? What is conclusion of any literature? Literature review is an overview of research on a given topic and answers to related research questions simply. It's an overview of any research. It is an important part of research and should be treated in a very important manner. A well-written literature review organizes There has been a technical error. Now it is okay. So, well-written literature organizes, evaluates, and identifies the patterns and trends in the literature. It synthesizes also. So, literature review is important in economics, whether it is micro, macro, finance, econometric, etc. Literature review is the heart, soul of any research proposal. Now, third thing is theoretical framework. Theoretical framework is they describe the theoretical foundations underpinning your empirical analysis. Like if you want to do a research on consumer behavior, you have to write the theories of consumer behavior, the evolution part, etc. It is the main body of any research proposal. You have to refer to the mainstream contribution and if possible, try to develop your own framework. So you have to describe theoretical foundation. Like if it is digital marketing, you have to write the concept of digital marketing, how it evolved, etc. What is marketing 4.0, what is social media marketing, etc. So you have to discuss the theoretical framework also, and you have to write proper references with proper names of the authors, because theoretical is the main body. So main body has to be decent one. You cannot write anything which is against the any concept. Concept is important. Now, empirical analysis. Now, empirical analysis means descriptive statistics, regression, case study, before and after, forecasting. So, empirical analysis is important at how you will analyze your data based on your observation. Is it a descriptive, like ex post facto research, ANOVA, chi-square, t-test, z-test, multi-discriminant analysis, or factor analysis, semantic differential scale, multi-dimensional scale, Thurston scale, Likert scale, etc. Correlation, one-way correlation, paired comparison method, paired t-test method. Regression analysis, dependent variable, independent variable, before and after. Case study, if your paper, if your research project is based on the case study. And forecasting. Forecasting is also very important. How you will forecast? By the trend analysis or ratio analysis, etc. Am I clear here? Now come to the last part, which is conclusion. Conclusion is restate the hypothesis or research question again and again. Summarize your results, summary of findings. Did you confirm your hypothesis? Whether your null hypothesis is accepted or rejected? What is the weakness of your study? Like you can write your weakness of your study that my research is only limited to eastern part or western part. My research is only limited to these variables, these determinants only. And what are the scope for further research? No new citation, table. So these things are to be written in any conclusion, because concluding part is important. What is the summary? Summary of findings. You have to present the data findings, data interpretation. And interpretation, which is one thing that gives meaning to the data. Like in ratio analysis, if current ratio is 2:1, it means that short-term financial soundness of the firm is sound. Means current assets are to be double than current liabilities. So you have to write conclusion very well, because it is the gist of your research work which you have done or which you have carried out for 3 years, 5 years, 6 years. So throughout the world, throughout each and every part of the world, whatever research you are doing, whatever researches are there, conclusion part is important. What is that which is your strength? What is the main thing which you found it out? that you have to write in your research proposal. Now, types of theses in economics. There are different types of theses in economics. Propose a new theory. Are you proposing any new theory, or you are evaluating existing theory with the data? Like you want to evaluate utility theory, diminishing marginal utility theory, evaluate existing literature, evaluate current or future policy, like you want to evaluate government banking policy, use theory to explain historical situation, like stagflation, eurozone problem, liquidity crunch. It could be anyone. Sensex crash. Evaluate historical policies and their consequences in the past, and predict future situation based on historical trend. Like experts and scientists are there who predict that when will COVID will be over, Omicron and any other variant. So they study through regression method, other method. They just see the trend analysis. Like Spanish flu was there 100 years back, plague was there. So you can also predict future situation based on historical trend. Like what has been the trend in the past. Now, how to make an excellent economics paper. So first is, one of the best writing tips is be precise. You have to be to the point, coherent. Start your paper with the following statements. According to it's common knowledge that, taking into account, there is no wonder that. So I should not be there. I. So you can use these common statements. For the conclusion part, these cliches would be useful, although it sounds cliche, but it is useful. Given these facts, to give you a snippet of, here is a regurgitation of, here is a run through of. So these are the ways you can write excellent economics paper. Concluding remarks, run through of. Am I clear to all? Okay. Now, what are the general principles for preparing research proposal in economics? It should answer 3 questions. What you are going to research, why you think this topic is worthy of research, and how you propose to perform the research. So first is why. What you are going to research. What you will research. The topic has to be there. Then, why you think this topic is useful, this topic is contemporary, valuable. Third, how you will propose to perform the research. So here comes the implementation part, execution part, data collection, sample size, data processing, editing, etc. Second, it should be straightforward. It should be to the point. It should be carefully organized. Like matter has to be carefully and systematically organized. It should point out innovation factor. Innovation has to be there, and it should follow the basic guidelines. What are the basic guidelines, which I've already mentioned? Then how to write research objectives. So this is a very short section, and objectives are written prior to hypothesis. This is a very short section, usually only a single paragraph, in which you indicate what questions will be answered and how policies might change as a result of these answers. And you have to assess whether the text is self-contained and ask yourself if it would make sense to the reader who just flips through your proposal and who hasn't read the introduction and research issue sections. So writing research objectives is also very tedious task, because by looking at the objective, layman can see what could be the hypothesis, what could be your research area. So objectives should be written as per the principle of specificity, measurability, and achievability. Like you cannot write any objective which is imaginary, which is fictitious, and which nobody is able to achieve. Objective writing is very important section, although it is very short section, but it is a important section. Now choose economics research. First, you have to choose that topic which attracts you, which fascinates you. If you choose that topic which doesn't attract you, which does not fascinate you, there is no use. If you are a part of rat race that my colleague has chosen this topic, so I will choose this topic, no. If you don't have any interest, if you don't have that core competence, never choose that area, because half knowledge is very dangerous. Study the literature, whatever literature is available. Third, you have to find someone who can bounce your ideas off. Like you should have a guide or a mentor who can be stimulated and influenced by your idea. So you need a philosopher or any mentor, professor, or toin. Think on an interdisciplinary level. So you have to think on interdisciplinary level also. You have to think on other discipline also. Like in management, we say that management is multidisciplinary. Organization behavior is multidisciplinary. It has derived its theories from sociology, anthropology, etc. So you have to think on an interdisciplinary level. And technical words and jargons are to be explained. Technical word jargons are to be explained in the last. Take an issue arising from your previous work. Like if you have your earlier work also, you can take that issue also. If you take that issue, there will always be a scope for further research. So these are the 5 guidelines by which you can choose a topic for your research proposal. Am I clear to all? Okay, thank you very much. Now, last slide is very important. It is thank you and open to any questions. So any questions, you can please write it in the chat box, or you can ask me by raising your hand. Yes, any questions?
Dear participant, you are unmuted. You can unmute yourself and you can ask a question from today's speaker. All of you are permitted to unmute.
Hello.
You can ask me questions. Yes, any questions?
Hello?
When
Yes,
you can ask.
Okay. The presentation is interesting. I do have one question. How can we differentiate conclusion and summary?
okay.
What's the
Means how
difference
to
between-
write summary in research proposal.
Yeah, research proposal as a content in our context. There are the final chapter talks about conclusion, summary, and recommendation. Most of the time, conclusion and summary are mixed. Therefore, how can we write differently, or how can we differentiate summary and conclusion?
Okay. So in last chapter of thesis, you can write summary. summary of findings. Like in summary, you have to first write about data interpretation. What are the data interpretation, how you will interpret that, and what different recommendations are there. But in place of recommendations, you can write suggestions. Recommendation is something which you are imposing. You can write suggestions. Suggestion is the word which nobody will criticize. And another thing while writing summary is that you like if you are using SPSS, you are using any test in Lua chi-square. So you have to write as per that test, and this hypothesis has been accepted or rejected because the y factor is important. If you are simply writing since calculated value is higher than table value, hypothesis will be rejected. No, you have to write why it is being rejected, because that y factor is important and what extra you have contributed to the knowledge of people. Yes, any other question?
Professor, there are 2 questions in the chat box. Please reply there. Check the chat box.
Yeah, is there a possibility to integrate micro and macro issues in our research? Yeah, it can be possible, but it will require a lot of efforts because the scope of microeconomics and scope of microeconomics is very different. Microeconomics talks about individual unit. Macroeconomics talks about nation as a whole. So although you can integrate micro, but there will be a overlapping, there will be confusion in that because you won't be able to do justice to the research. And second question is there any software helpful in writing literature? Okay. Although we have software for data analysis, SPSS, but for writing literature, I have shown the web sources. What are the different literature resources where you can know the tips for writing literature? And basically, writing literature only involves you have to be focused towards a theme and write in chronological order and write findings of what other researchers have given. Okay, third question is how to identify clearly dependent and independent variables. Okay, dependent variable and independent variable. Although there is another variable, extraneous variable. Extraneous variable is that variable which is not directly related to your study, but it can affect. Dependent variable, we can say that if petrol price are high, if petrol price, fuel price is high, then our consumption will be less. So consumption is dependent on petrol price. So petrol price is independent variable. Like if there is increase in price of cement, the price of buildings will increase, apartments will increase. So cement will be independent variable. Okay, another question is what is the difference in empirical review and theoretical review? Empirical review is based on personal observation and experience. And theoretical review is basically on theoretical concepts. It is conceptual, basically. Empirical, what you actually observe practically. Okay, can we integrate micro concept efficiency and macro concept determinants of FDI? You can, and you can correlate it with industry also. You can choose one industry and you can correlate that. But another point, microeconomics is something different, macro is different. So you may face a problem in literature review. Okay, we have next question. Which area of research is more useful for getting published topics, especially for developing country? Okay, any topic which is contributing to the society community at a large level that topic will be beneficial. Like if you are doing research on any topic related to environmental management, green marketing, or pandemic prevention, population control, so it could be a very interesting topic, and it will be uploaded also by everyone. I think lots of questions are there. Okay, is there any difference between significance of research and research findings? Significance of research is basically significance of research problem. On what topic you are doing research, why it is important, what is the rationale behind that. And research finding is the summary of your data analysis interpretation. And industry is correlated. But another point I know is you may write in
Please check your voice is breaking.
the chat box. You can write your question in the contributing to the society community. Okay, what? On any topic related to environmental management and green marketing, and I'm not able to hear. You can write the question in the message box. Significance of wisdom. What behind that? And I think it's about data and okay. How we develop conceptual framework? What is the difference of the question in the main difference conceptual and practical framework? Conceptual framework only talks about concept. Like in marketing, we have marketing concept, societal marketing concept, production marketing, we have societal marketing concept. It is basically conceptual research. What concept is there? But theoretical framework is you have to write each and everything, all the latest developments happening in that field, all relevant literature you have to write. Am I audible to all?
You are audible, but voice is breaking. Please fix it.
Breaking. How we conceptual. Conceptual research. But is your right and everything, all the latest developments happening in that field, you have Okay.
I think please visit.
Any more questions which you have? Questions?
There is one more question in the chat box. Please check it.
Okay. Participants can type their questions in the chat box. Okay, question is how can we determine sample size for qualitative research? With this, I need explanation for saturation of data. Okay. Basically, qualitative research deals with the quality, attribute, trait, characteristic. Qualitative research is used in motivation, organization, behavior, psychology, where you talk about projective techniques, story completion test, sentence completion test, word association test, etc. But however, in qualitative research, even if you want to determine sample size, you may use the case study, or you can use the you can use secondary data also. But for primary research, which is quantitative, then you can use the quantitative data collection tool like questionnaire, schedule, etc. But you can determine sample size for quantitative research through Roche formula. There is a Roche formula given in which you can determine sample size. Another question is difference between conceptual and theoretical framework. Okay. See, conceptual framework is related with construct. Concept. What concept you are discovering or what concept you are explaining. And theoretical framework is it is the entire background theory, complete theory. It is explanatory. Conceptual is only conceptual. You are only talking about the concept. This is the concept. Simple. Nuclear family concept, joint family concept, marketing, myopia concept. But theoretical, you will write each and everything, definition, statement, then early background, recent developments, etc. The scope of theoretical framework is greater than conceptual framework. Concept is only a concept. Then is there any specific procedure to be followed to develop a statement of the problem? Yes. You have to first define your problem in a general way. Then you have to rephrase it. You have to discuss with the doctor, professors, expert people. Only then you can write that. And pilot testing, feasibility study is important. You have to do experience survey. Experience survey is important. You have to do survey of the people who have the relevant experience with the problem to be studied. Like if you want to do a research on cancer patient, you have to do the experience survey of cancer patient. Okay, next question is what is the difference between literature review and meta-analysis? Literature review, you know very well, identifying gaps in the literature and in the chronological order. You have to study that topic from various magazines, articles, journal. Meta-analysis is something very different. It is related with the mining part or analysis part. That how you will frame that. The meta-analysis is more sophisticated and more technical as compared to literature review. Literature review is basically qualitative in research. Meta-analysis is both qualitative as well as quantitative. Is that must to write research questions? Yes, research questions are important. These are FAQs, frequently asked questions. Like some questions are to be there in the mind. Newton saw apple coming from the tree, so he discovered gravitation law. So some curiosity, anxiety has to be there. Like these are the questions which are to be answered by you because you are doing research on that. Difference between qualitative and quantitative research. Qualitative research deals with qualitative phenomena, motivation, trait, any desire, etc. Quantitative research relates to the number or measurement of amount, any technicalities, mathematical data. Okay. Can you say something on research question versus hypothesis? Hypothesis is the assumption which you have to prove. Research questions are the general questions which are coming to your mind while doing research. Hypothesis will be tested. It has to be tested through data analysis tools, statistical tools. Yes, any other question? Is always equal specific objective and research. Can we use both research question, research hypothesis at once? No, research questions are different. Research hypothesis is very different. You cannot use at same time. Research question will come before research hypothesis. Yes. Any other question? Is that must to define conceptual framework? Yes, because framework is something structure, conceptual structure. It is research design basically. Research design is what is the study about, what is the purpose of inquiry, what is the data collection method you are using, what is the sample size you are using, what is the time and scope of study, what is the budget, etc. So research question and research design is a formidable task. Like an organization without ship or an organization without strategy is like a ship without a rudder. In the same way, research design gives direction to the researcher. So a proper design has to be there. Okay. Okay, last question, I guess. Most of the time, economists choose research on the area of micro and macro perspective. Is it possible to use descriptive analysis for macro variables? Yes, you can use descriptive analysis, but you may not be able to substantiate with the facts. Facts, figures are to be there because their descriptive analysis will be your own perception. It is philosophical something. Initially, the motive of the research may be to verify the puzzle result in literature, but if the result of paper also part of the puzzle, what is the solution? Okay. Basically, as I mentioned earlier, desire to solve complex problem, desire to get intellectual joy, and desire to solve something. Like Pythagoras. He has given Pythagoras it is a hypotenuse theorem. So research can be something investigative in nature. It is also that like Einstein is there, Galileo was there, Thomas Alva Edison, who invented filament bulb. Why can we use summary and conclusion simultaneously on the same paper? See, I'm not saying summary, I'm saying summary of findings. What findings are there? It is the name of the chapter. Difference between concrete and Yemen formula and sample size determination. I may not be able to throw light on this. Sorry. Yes, any more questions? Okay, how to reduce plagiarism? Although there are different softwares by which you can reduce the plagiarism and copyrighted content. Softwares are there, but even if you want to reduce plagiarism on your own, your writing has to be original. It has to be authentic. Although there will be many words which will come under the ambit of plagiarism, but you can practice it by better writing. Is there any common approach to select or identify explanatory variables, factors that affect contribute to determined variable? Yeah, there is you have to study the literature first. Because without studying literature, you may not be identify explanatory variables. Because after reading literature, you will be able to identify which is the dependent variable, which is the independent variable. You have to do factor analysis. Like if I talk about visual merchandising in retail management, there are many factors: ambience, sound, color combination, contrast, utilization of space, interior, poster wall, light, music, surrounding. So you have to identify different factors. Okay, thank you all of you. Thank you, organizers. So I want to thank Professor Sudhir Rajiv ma'am for giving me the opportunity to address very wonderful audience and intellectual audience on this 5-day FDP. Thank you so much, Sudhi ma'am, and all the organizers. Thank you. You have been a very interactive audience.
Moderator is there. Okay.
Ma'am is there? Yes, Sudhi.
Thank you, dear professor, for your valuable thoughts. All the questions related to your presentation has been discussed, and I think it is very really helpful, informative, knowledgeable for all the participants who are attending this session. And once again, thank you very much for your valuable time. We are
Thank you, sir.
proudly presenting a certificate of appreciation to Dr. Muktak Vyas for imparting his valuable thoughts in 5-day international FDP on research methods in economic using Stata software. Thank you all of you being the part of this event. Tomorrow we will resume the meeting at the same time. And now it is time to close the session. Once again, thank you all the participants, and thank you very much, dear professor, for your valuable time and thoughts for this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Very nice, Muktak. This is Sudhir Rajiv.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very
Congratulations.
much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to act as a keynote speaker today.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much.